To champion select, ladies and gentlemen. Sivir is hitting the bench first up here as Snake take one away from M3. SMLZ getting targeted there, which is interesting to me. Hasn't played a whole lot of Sivir recently.
I mean, it was also one of his most played champions. He is a legacy Caitlyn player, and he did have kind of a short stint where he was playing exclusively Caitlyn, although the Sivir has come back into his rotation, into his hand. Still very curious that they would decide to prioritize Sivir on the ban. Yeah. Did Master3 not ban? Nope,
yep. They forgot.
It's cool. We can talk about Dade versus you.
Yeah, we can. I'm versing Dade. Oh, goodness me, that sounds terrifying.
That
no,
was an awful pun.
Yeah, I know. Well, look, it has to happen at least once, and it's just been said so many times. Okay, out of my system. We're going to be A-okay. We are getting straight into it, though, because, of course, champ select, a little bit of a fumble, but we are getting everything sorted out. Of course, just a bit of forgetfulness between some of these players.
What am I doing? What champion am I banning?
Yeah, where am I? What is this? Okay, nailed it.
Dade versus you. We talked about ZZR versus Condi. No doubt that's important, but my featured matchup is into this mid lane as, again, we get back into champion select.
Yeah.
Dade, known as one of the best team fighting mid laners in the world, taking on who I consider the best team fighting mid laner in the LPL. Above Rookie, above Godv, above Pawn, I think you is the best team fighting mid laner in the LPL. And
we actually saw that on display yesterday, I believe. Yesterday or the day before, of course, when they managed to get their 2-0, not their 2-0 victory, the one before that where they split 1-1. Of course, Snake still looking fantastic throughout, as far as that team fighting is concerned, and it was on the back of Yu's Azir play. But we are getting straight into this one. Janna being picked up first off here for Ella on the side of Snake, and M3 still making some decisions. Condi with his Rek'Sai left open. They banned away the Gragas as well as the Ryze Kalista, the standard red side bans, but it's going to be Cassidy and Ezreal who followed up. So Dade getting a bunch of focus, and you can see already picking away the Braum.
What is fairly interesting about the purple side bans is Gragas being banned away. It is still a high priority ban, but typically red side staple is Echo, Kalista, and Ryze. So Echo is left and available. No surprise that Condi's not going to pick that one up. It's not a champion that he's looked good on or been comfortable with. Again, Lee Sin, Rek'Sai. But you lose one of your primary big resets and disengage, and then Snake pick up the only other big one left in the game with the Janna Monsoon on priority pick.
Yeah, well, they've got the Janna Monsoon and now the Emperor's Divide as well, and it looks like they're considering taking away this Vayne for Martin, so a lot of fight reset potential and displacement as well. Getting Vayne into a situation where she can hammer on just one person is definitely a very good idea. So Snake already showing exactly what they want to do this game. We'll see what M3 do to respond. If
he doesn't go Caitlyn, I'd actually be really shocked, just because, again, SMLZ is a legacy Caitlyn player. Caitlyn, Kog'Maw would work.
Similar vibe. Of course, you just have a smaller window to have all of that gigantic range.
It's a little bit scary, though, because you still don't have the same type of disengage. So look at how much space Snake have already started creating for Vayne. Like you said, taking the Emperor's Divide, having the Monsoon. They have probably the two best left disengages in the game to let this Vayne just go crazy. You do have a bit of backline threat with Kog'Maw just because of his reach on his W and how putting points into that will increase his range. Will be locked in, as well as the Rek'Sai. Anytime he has Flash, the threat that Condi can get back there and disrupt. But with Sivir off the board, still very scary that M3 might not have enough tools to deal with the disengage that Snake have already drafted.
Yeah, may not necessarily be able to get in, as it were, but Snake now considering their jungle and top lane picks here, and I actually like the hover of this Gnar at the moment. Of course, Gnar pairs greatly with Azir, but also taking it away from Looper.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Looper's a fantastic Gnar. It's one of his highest played champions. I just realized that our mid lane pick is Azir and Victor, and if you remember Atlas upstairs, we were talking about, you know, who do you think Dade and you are going to play? I was like, I'd love to see Victor versus Azir, because both these mid laners are incredibly good at 5v5 team fighting. If you think about Dade, you know, known as the Spring King, his whole thing, what he was known for, is that he would hold cooldowns, he would be patient enough with them and use them at the perfect time to not only change the course of a team fight, but change the course of a game. It's kind of like under pressure, Dade would come out and make the best case scenario play, and both these champions, Azir and Victor, have so much power and potential to do that.
Yeah, and it was really interesting having this discussion as well, because you spoke about the fact that you, very, very strong team fighting mid laner, and Dade, of course, used to be sort of the height of team fighting there in the mid lane. So sort of now it's you sort of picking up what Dade sort of left off, and Dade's actually improved a whole lot in the laning phase.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's now an issue about consistency, and so the difference between these two teams is where they're standing right now. Masters3 are your playoff guards, sitting at 22 points, especially because they didn't pick up a single point yesterday in their set against Invictus Gaming. And Dade just hasn't been consistent. I mean, that said, in Korea, you were playing a lot less games when Dade was kind of in his height of the OGN, you know, having both those titles on two different teams. In the LPL, each team is playing 44 games, so you're getting more exposure to Dade in this type of format, so maybe a little bit of experimentation. But just the issue is he hasn't been consistent, and that's shown in Masters3 results.
Well, Lupa is going to pick up the Maokai here to take into the top lane against Flandre's Nar. Of course, Flandre known for being very, very aggressive, so Lupa sort of conceding that lane just a little bit. But Maokai not often shoved out too far, just because that passive pretty handy for keeping yourself topped up. But I'm interested to see ZZR on the Echo, because that was, of course, something that Beast was more than happy to play, but haven't seen it as much out of ZZR.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He was able to also take it very late into the draft phase because, again, they know that Condi isn't going to prioritize Echo. They know that it's going to be the Rek'Sai or the Lee Sin. And so the fact that it allowed them, again, to pick up Janna as a priority, knowing that they could get the Echo down the line. Unfortunately, they're not able to pick up the Victor Echo synergy, but Azir Echo is still very strong.
Yeah, it certainly is. And the fact that Echo as well can control a lot of space. We were talking about making sure that Vayne can stay safe in these fights. That's another tool in the parallel convergence to create that situation. Flandre, you can see, up against Lupa on the tree in the top lane. We'll see how that one goes, whether we're going to get a lane swap or not, as ZZR takes the Echo into the Rek'Sai of Condi.
And we just talk about how ZZR, you know, the upgrade over Beast, and that he's a little bit more meta-resistant, or at least fitting better into this meta. But this is the matchup that I want to talk about, that I'm excited about. You versus Dade, Azir versus Victor.
And we'll have to see how that one plays out as well. Of course, the laning phase not going to give us too much in this game, I don't think. I have a feeling
because it's Dade versus you.
Exactly. It's not exactly laning phase focused players, but as soon as these skirmishes, these team fights start breaking out, that's when everything is going to be a big deal. The only Western guy in the audience, hey man.
That's the way.
My goodness.
That's the way to say it, Western guy.
Yeah, he was the only Western guy in the audience. I don't know what he was doing over there. Looks like he's having a fantastic time, though, as we hop into this game. Well, and speaking of which, let's waste no more time. Let's get onto the Rift. All right, and here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Game 1, Day 3, Week 10, as Snake taking on M3. Snake on our blue side, M3 wearing some red pants, and Aladdin Echo wandering up the lane into the river.
I think it has a very Kingdom Hearts vibe.
Oh, yeah.
That skin, he's got like the Sora pants, the Sora shoes.
I can feel it. I can feel it.
I digress. Dade versus you. So I made a really bold statement calling you the best team fighting mid laner in the LPL right now, which I think is fairly apt. If you look about Snake's, you know, most recent kind of trend to victories, especially their set against OMG, how it came down to one team fight effectively into the late game. And that's something that Snake have always been very good, is their 5v5. But just how you has changed that dynamic and made it so much scarier, because Flandre is going to be Flandre. He's going to get to that backline. He's going to run rampant. Before, you had Baka, who pretty much played Xerath, and Xerath, and Xerath.
And Azir.
And Xerath.
And Lulu. And Xerath.
You offer so much more control, much larger champion pool, and the control really opens up an AD carry like Martin, because Martin is position-based. He's more closer to kind of, if you think about Wei Xiao style versus Uzi style, or Name style versus Uzi style, Def style versus M style. How many different players can I get in there? He's position-based. So your zone control mid laner is going to empower you to be able to make that change into your roster versus someone like Crystal, who it's all about that hyper carry.
Yeah.
And that aggression.
And all about getting all of the resources from his team as well, and hard carrying in these team fights where everybody else was a peeler. Seems to be a little bit the vibe of the team moving forward. Luffy, you can see, taking down some puppies there, as Condi's going to start over on his red buff, all on his lonesome. Flandre keeping ZZR company on their jungle trek.
Dade getting the better of this initial lane phase. Something like we talked about is that Dade's lane phase actually has gotten very good. Recently, he found, I'll always go back to his Vladimir solo kill on Xiaohu.
Oh, yeah. And
so
that was
good.
Xiaohu's Jace as well. A fantastic sort of pick of his that he's shown a lot of success on. Didn't matter. The power of Vladimir in lane. Too much.
Although we can quickly talk about this bottom lane as well, as it looks like Martin and Ella actually have control of it. And again, anytime John is in a lane, it's about if you can use your shield aggressively or defensively. So making sure that you have control of the minion wave so that you can push forward and use the shield to trade versus forcing to be used the shield to eat damage.
Yeah, and I think about a Vayne lane always as being a lane without much control over the minion wave. But you can see right now Martin able to auto-attack a lot and get these creeps down and create a push there on the bottom side, meaning that they'll grab that level 2 a little bit faster and stay out of trouble here as Looper actually going aggressive onto Flandre, who heads into the Mega Gnar form. But you can see Looper not pulling any punches this morning. It
was really smart of Looper, knowing that he had the level 3 versus the level 2 advantage, and likewise the fact that Mega Gnar form was there, knowing that he was melee. So he was able to go in, knowing that he had more abilities because he's level 3, that he can out-trade Mega Gnar and then walk away. And because he's Mega Gnar, he can't follow it up with any ranged auto attacks, which would obviously get the best of Maokai. Yeah. So just like a really smart split-second decision for Looper to find a really high advantage in this lane.
Ooh, Condi looking for Flandre here. Preyseeker doesn't find it. There's the flash. Oh, immediately flashed by Flandre. That reaction speed was amazing. Dodges out of the way of First Blood.
But he does save himself for First Blood. Unfortunately, this is still incredibly punishing against Flandre because look at how much CS and, more important, experience that he's missing getting eaten up by the tower. Now, normally he's going to burn his teleport here, so he's trying to minimize the loss. So now he's both summoners down, and still the fact that Condi attempted to dive him wasted up probably a good wave.
It did, and of course Flandre going back, picking up another Doran's Blade, looking to try and eke back some control in this lane. The answer is going to be double Doran's Ring, very standard here for Maokai, wanting the extra wave clear, but looking like danger times here for this Gnar.
See where Condi will strike next to ZZR, like you said. Just trying to invade, knowing that Condi was topside, seeing if he can punish the enemy jungler for punishing his top laner.
He's going to be able to at this point. Blue buff still up here as ZZR makes his way out of the enemy jungle. Ooh, Spirit spotting Condi out. Does have to be a little bit careful, but it's just going to be the Rift Scuttler here for ZZR.
ZZR could attempt to go in to challenge this just because Yu has complete control over the mid lane. Dade can't move over to assist, but Yu is low on mana.
Yeah, not a lot of help to come from this mid lane, as you can see.
Did he steal it?
I believe he must have. How?
Unless Condi or ZZR... No, Condi stopped it. No, he's doing it again. He just... Okay. He faked him out.
Right. There we are. Back onto the buff. Very, very strange. Well, does mean that he is going to be able to get it this time around. Might mean that Dade goes and picks it up. We'll see. Of course, early rotation blue buffs often happen when you do have a Rek'Sai who just doesn't really care about blue buff at all. But not going to happen this time around. Condi valuing the experience.
Well, Dade would lose too much walking away from that lane because Yu was keeping it pushed in, because he would have to walk all the way from behind his tower. There's no way that he could walk in front of the ZZR at this point.
Yeah.
And likewise, Condi needs the experience just because he expended so much of his time on that initial gank into the top lane. So just trying to keep even with ZZR, which he's now caught back up. Again, the pushing power of Rek'Sai, or the farming power of Rek'Sai, 19 to 17 CS in that jungle.
She just farms pretty well for us.
She just break dances on creeps.
She does.
Breakdancing Rek'Sai skin.
We need one.
I want like a hip-hop Rek'Sai. I don't know why Ella is standing the way that he is and just allowing Ruo to throw out these free Qs. He could just stand to the opposite side of the lane.
Ooh, Condi making his way in here towards the top side. It is going to be a 2v2 as ZZR hits level 5.
Maybe not.
No, not happening just yet. Preyseeker was good enough to figure out what's going on, but ZZR was very still. Made sure that that tremor sense wasn't going to be too much of a big deal. Winterspite not going to find anything here on the bottom side as the wave gets well and truly shoved in to this turret. Looper makes his way around. Condi.
There are 3
Dade
top.
Is there as well, yeah.
And Yu hasn't left.
And shows himself back in the mid lane there as well, so possible 3-man dive, but Dade just going to make his way back to the mid lane, wants to catch that minion wave.
This is the other thing that Dade's been really expanding on a lot more now. Split pushing, no surprise. He played Zed earlier in his season and was all about that side wave control, playing away from Master3 and trying to make his own plays. But recently, it's been...
Oh, yeah.
He's been moving around from his lane a little bit more. That was really unfortunate in the top lane.
Severe. Well, oh, in it goes you. There's the Emperor's Divide back into the wall. Condemn instantly dead is the Cogmores. Now Martin trying to continue on. Ruo's going to go down. Double kill for the Vayne.
And as I talk about Dade moving around a little bit more from his lane, unfortunately he goes top. He doesn't find anything. Yu pushes the wave out, chases away from Vision, and finds the double assist on the bottom side.
And that was just perfect placement of that Emperor's Divide as well. Everything about that was fantastic. The fact that he managed to flash into it, get both Cogmore and Braum, who aren't all that mobile, especially, you know, Braum when he doesn't have something he can move past. And you can't get through an Emperor's Divide wall with the stand behind me.
Here we are. We're going to have a replay of that. You're absolutely right. Just the perfect placement, using the flash in tandem with his gap closer just to put himself right in front of them. And like you said, they have no tools, nothing on any of their kits to help them against that. But it was set up by the fact that Dade leaving the lane meant that there was no wave pressure. Yu was able to push the wave forward. Yeah. Vision was dropped on him and make his way down the river. But I just love the fact, you know, Dade went top, Yu mirrored him and went bottom. They're doing exactly the same thing. It's just that Yu is a little bit more successful. And by a little bit, I mean 2 kills.
Yeah, the 2-0 victory. As far as that one is concerned, of course, Flandre whiffing the ultimate entirely at that stage. You can see Yu, he's gone back, picked himself up a Fiendish Codex, and of course, the Amplifying Tome. So you can see those Sand Soldiers starting to do some work here against Dade. Has managed to catch up in farm, of course, with Yu heading towards the bottom side. Meant that he got in there, but look, it doesn't mean too much when there's a couple of assists sitting on the Azir, and Condi looking to try and answer what is a relatively strong Azir at this point.
Big issue is always going to be the type of damage and the consistent sustained damage that Azir can put out versus Victor. Now, if Victor lands his laser, it can be quite punishing, as we see a gank setup. Yeah,
Zuzia's made his way here. Not going to find the stun there, but Condi makes his way back in. Teleport in the bottom lane, immediately answered as well by both teams. Condi going down super low, Flandre in the backside, but Martin, he's going to be the first casualty of the fight. Oh my goodness, Ella actually locks down the next kill. Nice use of the Chrono Break to save ZZR's life. The Gnar into the wall as Looper's going down low. 4 members of Snake now here on the bottom side of the map, and Dade has to turn around and go home.
And again, Yu gets the advantage on Dade, gets the jump on him, makes the roam initially, and gets there in time. Victor, if he was in that fight, would have been fantastic.
Well, it does mean a 3,000 gold lead approximately here for Snake. As I mean, it looked like things were going okay. Martin fell down first, but then too many members of Snake, and the fact that Flandre in a team fight is a lot better than Flandre in a laning phase, apparently.
Well, likewise, perfect management of his Rage bar to make sure that he had the Mega Gnar available to find the chain CC. But still, more importantly, Yu is making plays around the map, and Dade is not finding the same impact.
0-0-5 now for this Azir as we have a look at this one again.
So ZZR using his parallel convergence. M3 actually played that really well, forcing him to the other side of the lane. But a great reset from Ella pushes back so much damage from SMLZ. They pick up the kill from Martin, you're right. It looks so good right here. But the reset on Echo keeps him alive so much longer than he should have been. And then that buys enough time for Flandre to find the Mega Gnar and get the correct CC.
Yeah, and I didn't see the fact that you came in with that Emperor's Divide as well. Got a whole bunch of extra damage down. Once again, it's what you said. Out-rotating Dade this time. If that had have been a Victor entering the fight, it would have been Gravity Field down, Chaos Storm with a whole lot of AoE damage, and things could have gone completely the other way.
Dade has managed to pick himself up a CS lead for the fact that Yu, constantly leaving the lane, so trying to minimize a little bit of the loss, but right now Yu sitting on 5 assists.
Yeah. Oh, parallel convergence in one more time. Rua's going to get stunned up there as he gets knocked up as well. Martin going to be able to at least help with that kill as ZZR grabs it. Ooh, Winter's Bite. Concussive Blow's not going to go off now as Martin lands the auto attack. Condi looking to answer that aggression on the bottom side with his own gank on the top side of the map. Flandre playing very far back, though. I don't think Condi's going to find too much.
And unfortunately, as soon as Condi shows himself, this is going to sacrifice all dragon control.
Yeah, Flandre getting the boomerang there as well.
Gonna hop.
Yep, Hyper going to get things happening as well. Oh, hop. Oh, hops over Condi as well as ZZR is going to pick up Dade there in the mid lane. Ella even roamed through. So M3 already looking in shambles this game.
Master3 have lost complete control over the bottom side of their map. Repeated ganks from ZZR on the power spike of Vayne's Blade of the Rune King allows and unlocks Ella to then make the roam into the mid lane and start punishing Dade for his bot lane's weakness.
Flandre is now looking for Condi as well. Hyper's going to proc here, but Loop is at full health. Oh, is he going to try and flash in there? Wallop's good, but just has to shove Looper out. Does still have the flash, so might actually be able to survive this one. Or is the crush there? It is. Flandre is going to be safe. That was silly. There's now SMLZ in some trouble in the bottom side of the map. ZZR comes in. There's the stun. Actually, no, doesn't find it here. The ZZR manages. Oh, does he have the chrono break? No, he doesn't. Yu finds his way into the bottom side, but Martin picks up SMLZ.
And again, Yu picking up another assist, 7 out of these 9 kills, but more importantly, this Vayne, 3, 1, and 4, had the Blade of the Rune King, I believe, at 11 minutes. Yep. It's now 13, so well ahead of the clock in terms of her itemization.
Yeah, Martin not even decided to go back here as well, just going to try and finish off this turret. You can see Ruo unfortunately getting knocked up there just for a moment. Martin's going to be able to secure this turret. Pops the ward down as well, just for good measure. There's all of that extra gold now going to be in the Vayne's back pocket. Only a few CS ahead, but 3, 1, and 4 in comparison to the 1, 3, 1 of SMLZ puts Martin in a fantastic spot right now.
And he does have his Trinity Force available to him, so Kog'Maw is in his own power spike in terms of the initial itemization. The difference, however, is that his team doesn't have the same amount of protection or disengage that Martin's going to be allowed. Again, with the Emperor's Divide, with the Wallop, with the Monsoon. Is that what it's called, Wallop?
Yep.
When he pushes them? The scoop?
The scoops are not.
I call it the pooper scooper.
Pooper scooper works, yeah. Although you're not picking up.
Oh, you were taking out the trash.
Yeah, that works. That'll do. Fling. I like calling it fling. Just get that bit of synth into the game when he's not there.
Especially because it's against Looper.
Exactly. I'm glad you were there. If I could trust you to be anywhere.
It was a trust fall.
Yeah, it was beautiful. I feel like I was just casually grabbed. Well, I don't know what that means. Dragon is going to go down here as Snake take the first one at 14.5 minutes. Very late Dragon here, but it is going to be a 5,000-ish gold lead.
No need to take your advantage off of Dragon when you're just repeatedly diving the bot lane with the reset of Echo.
Yeah, what's the point of taking Dragon when you really want to be doing other things? Condi, though, he's making his way towards the top side one more time. Flandre with a decent rage bar. Looper trying to close the distance.
He's luring them to the wall.
Yeah, and Looper was actually just slowly dying to Flandre as he kited him back. Dade, once again, in a bit of trouble here in the mid lane as Yu decides he doesn't even really want to be there.
This 2v1 in the top lane is pretty cute.
You mean 3v1?
the Condi Looper bromance against Flandre.
Yeah, it seems like they're taking their own little style of the game here. As
Get
Flandre, no more Meganar. Hexdrink is going to pop. Rogue's going to come in as well. Lands the Winter's Bite, grabs himself an assist.
Beautiful timing. Understand that the Meganar wasn't there. He had just come out of it. Wouldn't be able to proc his rage bar fast enough. But that said, so many resources of Master3 expended in the top side, they sacrificed their second tier bottom tower. Snake's like, #worth.
Yeah, we'll take it. Of course. Yeah, I think M3 though, they have proven a point. You know, they can kill Flandre.
You can't 2v1 us.
Exactly.
We'll bring Braum.
They are going to take away the blue buff here as well. You easily able to pick that one up with the Sand Soldier, and there's still positional advantage for Snake around this bottom side of the map. You can see so many wards. They can move around this one as they see fit. Sorcerer Shoes completed for you as well as the Merlin on the front.
Okay, Snake have complete and utter control over the bottom side of the map, not just with their vision, but the fact that both tier 2 towers are down at 16 minutes in the game. That's pretty absurd and ridiculous, which means Dragon control should be succeeded to them for the entirety of the game until Master3, particularly Dade, is up and running and allowed to be commanding with that AoE. So now the question is, where does Snake go from here? They have a window of opportunity where they can play to the top side of the map and take the last standing outer tower, being the one that Looper's on, which is why you see Martin and Ella zipping up there.
They most certainly are. Condi there to answer it as well, just in case Looper gets into any trouble, but they're just going to shove this one out.
Dade knows this as well, which is why you see him rotating up through his own jungle, making sure not to step into river because he assumes that that's going to be warded by Snake. And he wants to catch, and again, this is also why he's going all the way back through the lane, because they want to catch Snake overextending here to punish them.
Well, as you can see as well, Snake deciding that they don't want to overextend. They want to create pressure points elsewhere on the map. You can see Flandre there on the bottom side. Wasn't Martin wanting to push towards the turret. They're just holding this one off, making sure the Looper can't get any extra damage onto their tower.
Well, they know for sure that Master3 are setting up something suspicious because suddenly everyone's been missing on the map.
Where are all these tunnels from? Condemn actually down here onto Looper as he twisted advances his way back in. There's the Glacial Fissure.
That is
Empress
their sec.
Divide. And that is a dead Looper, well and truly. 008 now for you.
The Shurima Shuffle.
Was that Electrovellium? Was he 008?
Maybe.
I don't remember back to Goldeneye. It's a long way away.
I wasn't a big fan.
You weren't?
No.
Goldeneye? It was one of my favorites. Admittedly, not one of the best movies, but it was cute.
What's cute is the fact that Snake are going to get a second-tier tower off of that one pick on Looper, and it's primarily because Dade tried to commit to the mid lane as opposed to assisting his team. Dade sitting 0-1-0 right now to use 0-0-8, and that's been the story of this game.
And it hasn't been about getting kills either for you. It's been the fact that
just
he's
making the
able
impact
to get everywhere before Dade. Exactly right.
And yeah, Azir is more mobile than Victor just because he does have his gap closer, his ability to kind of sneak over walls, things like that. But the big case is the fact that bot lane lost so much control with the initial roam because Dade committed to the top side of the map. Flandre, able to eat up all of those resources from Master3, allowed you to get the push advantage, disappear into Fog of War, and start that snowball, which was then immediately followed up by ZZR with back-to-back ganks. So just that one misstep of trying to focus down Flandre really led to Impri's undoing.
Oh, in goes you as well. Manages to get Dade there as the auto attacks of these Sand Soldiers doing work. Ella comes in, steals the kill. What a jerk.
You, 0-0-9. Not going to get another kill, not on Ella's watch.
Yep, 009. That was the guy that died in almost every James Bond as well. That's not what you want.
Red shirt.
Yeah.
See, I don't know James Bond, but I can hit you with the Star Trek.
Oh, well, I don't know whether we need to be beamed up that fast, buddy.
Okay. I respect.
I got audible groans from the studio, so I understand what I did wrong. M3 looking to defend under this turret. Looper taking a lot of damage from you as he has an Abyssal Scepter now as well. A lot of magic damage actually on offer from this M3 side, meaning that you're basically untouchable at this point.
He is running out of mana, however, so they won't be able to keep the siege up for long, especially because Dade is back up in position. He's the primary wave clear for Master3. So this is just about Snake creating multiple pressure points across the map in terms of top wave, mid wave, bot wave, before they peel back onto this dragon, grab the dragon, reset, probably move their vision to Baron and start fate that.
Oh my goodness, Martin in with the condemn onto Condi.
Unless
Already
Condi
takes
gets
half
caught.
of his health. Yep, Yu's going to pick up his first kill of the game. Well deserved there as well as ZZR going very aggressive. Flandre not going to flash for anything. Does have the Nara available if he wants it. And it looks like they're going to set up the siege one more time.
They don't have mana resources. Okay,
Yeah,
they're just
don't
going to
have
go
a
for
whole
it. They're strong enough. I'll give it to them. We got 10k gold lead at 20 minutes into this game.
Parallel Convergence is there as well for the zoning capability. And this tower does not last very long at all. Snake able to lock down the last remaining inner tower. Only inhibitor towers left here for M3, who are in desperate need of a break this game.
Big issue was Condi getting caught out there. There was no reason for his positioning to be on that side of the tower. He just needed to be behind his team and to provide anti-dive threat to allow Dade to sit there and wave clear. But there goes the dragon. Again, Snake in the driver's seat right now.
The afterthought dragon, we like to call it. Frozen Heart completed for Looper though. He's starting to get some items. Dade just needs to complete the recipe for his Rabbidan's death cap, but he's so far behind. Flandre getting aggressed on here.
Yep.
Just Nas Condi out of there. Everyone's looking for it. Flash is going to be expended.
Good attempt from Dade to step forward and set the gravitational field into the choke point to force the flash out of Flandre. But here we go. So they took Dragon, they reset, ping goes to Baron.
Well, it looks like Snake with so much of this control, of course, all of their towers still up, ladies and gentlemen. 6-0, 10,000 gold lead. And with so much map control, you may as well at least set up for a Baron.
We talked about, you know, the U versus Dade, and unfortunately I feel like this isn't a fair comparison just because Dade never really got the chance to show off a big 5v5. That said, really neither did you, since the gold disparity between these teams snowballed so hard from bottom lane play.
And we've also given you a lot of props for his ability to team fight whilst behind. It's not necessarily these sort of snowballed fights that are where you really shows his worth for the team.
And he's gotten a lot of practice on that because recently Snake's mid-game has been, to put it lightly, atrocious.
Yeah.
Their macro mid-game decision-making has been fairly weak, so it's very comforting. Of course, they had a huge gold lead, and it's very easy to make plays when you're this far ahead.
Yeah.
But this is much more proactive and much more clean, clinical of a game from Snake, and so that's encouraging to see. Even though that this is such a one-sided match right now in terms of the gold, Snake are playing this much more matured, or as I say that, they've set up their vision around the back of Baron, but they're still not quite baiting it yet.
Yeah, nor are they doing it yet either. They do have
Flandre,
teleport on Flandre though.
Yeah, Flandre should be in the bottom side taking care of that wave right now. So again, here we go. Mid-game, macro shot calling a little bit wonky.
Yeah, that wave looks like it's pushing out here a little bit for M3 as well. Suntower going to fall down. Oh, that looked like an aggressive move by you, but we are going to step away from it for now as Dade's getting aggressed on so hard by Flandre. Nails the Gnar that time around, and he's going to get singled out. Parallel convergence there, forcing the flash out of Looper. Boulder toss lands as well as Flandre makes his way in. He's all the way over the wall. Does have the ultimate available if he needs it, but they're able to follow it up and pick up the kills as Snake now taking down 3 people. They could head back to the Baron if they want to. Maybe pick up some base.
I stand by my decision to say that they could have played with the bottom wave and utilized the fact that they had teleport. I'm guessing it's about to be a surrender.
That's what it was.
But Snake just do Snake things in typical fashion, and they sprint at the enemy team and force Master3 to fight them. Just ran away with it. Starting in the bottom lane. Actually, you know what? I'm going to say it started in the top lane. Flandre, again, eating up so many resources, forcing Condi to make the early rotation top side, making sure that he gave up the summoners but not his life, and then allowing you to get the advantage of positioning on Dade and start the snowball bottom, which was then brilliantly followed up by ZZR.
And I just love the trust that Snake give to Flandre as well. Flandre was getting manhandled.
Yeah,
early stage of
there
that
were
lane.
3 people up against him for a majority of that game.
Exactly, but Snake just say, okay, well, we're going to ignore that because you are creating so much pressure for us that focusing people top lane means that we can get an easy double kill in the bottom lane for Martin, get this Vayne rolling very, very early on, and it meant that, you know, you was able to make all of these proactive plays.
And that's not something typically we say about you. He's usually fairly passive in his lane. You know, he'll get a CS advantage, a slight one, but it's not until these big 5v5s that he really shines. So doing a great job making his impact roaming around the map a little bit more. And still credit to Dade. You know, he tried to get involved and to put Flandre down, because if you are going to target a point on Snake, it is going to be Flandre. It's not that Master3, you know, picked the wrong target. They just didn't bring the tools to deal with it.
Yeah, that's the point. And of course, Flandre very used to being a large focus from basically everyone that goes against Snake. He's well known as this guy that's able to go completely off if allowed to.